The Chase United Explorer card is an amazing card that can bring a lot of value to United loyalists. Personally, I've had this card for about 6 years in total, and I've taken full advantage of the many perks and benefits of this card as a regular cross-country flyer. But after I started my first job and moved back home to the West Coast from the East Coast, I no longer flew these types of routes as often, and every year I had to figure out a way to take at least one United round-trip flight just to make this card worth it. So in this video, we're going to explore why I downgraded my Chase United Explorer card, and we'll start by briefly going over the main features of this card. At the time of this recording, the Chase United Explorer card has a sign-up bonus of 50,000 miles after spending $3,000 on purchases in the first 3 months, with a $0 introductory annual fee, then $95 per year thereafter. It earns 2x miles on United purchases, 2x miles on dining, 2x miles on hotel, and 1x miles on everything else. The benefits are actually quite good for the $95 annual fee, with the 3 best ones in my opinion being the 2 United Club passes each account anniversary a year, free first check bag for you and one companion, which is a $35 value each way per person, and priority boarding. You also get a $100 TSA pre-check global entry credit every 4 years, premier upgrades on award tickets, and a 25% statement credit on food, beverages, and Wi-Fi while on board United flights. As this is a travel card, you also get travel protection with trip cancellation and interruption insurance, trip delay reimbursement, baggage delay insurance, and lost luggage reimbursement, as well as primary auto rental collision damage waiver, no foreign transaction fees, as well as get purchase protection, as well as a host of other typical credit card related perks. So with all that said, this is why I specifically got this card. Just like everyone else who gets a co-branded credit card, I wanted to maximize the value I got by building loyalty with that one brand, and in this case, that was United Airlines. By building loyalty and using United as my main travel carrier, I could take full advantage of all the United-specific benefits. But the key here, though, is that I flew on the Trans-US route often on United, but not often enough to reach the first Premier status level with United, which was Premier Silver. And this is important because once you reach that level, you negate 2 of the benefits on the United Explorer card, the priority boarding in Group 2, as well as the free first check bag benefit for yourself. I also realized that it was actually quite easy to get value from this card. I mean, sign-up bonus and introductory $0 annual fee aside, if we look at the annual fee of $95, there are multiple ways to get net positive value from this card without even factoring in the multipliers that the card has. Being more specific, the TSA pre-check and global entry credit gives you $100, and that by itself negates the annual fee, at least for 1 year. The 2 United Club passes every year, each valued at $59, equals $118 in value total, and we can't forget the first free check bag benefit for you and a companion, which is a $35 value each way per person. So if you and a companion check 1 bag each, that would be a $140 savings if you both had a round-trip ticket. The last reason is a little more personal. So I personally get nervous when I'm in line to board the aircraft, and I'm not sure if there will be any overhead bin space for my carry-on luggage. Drop me a comment down below if you feel this way as well. I don't really have a problem with gate checking my carry-on, but I'd rather not if I didn't have to. So this is where the priority boarding benefit comes into play. With priority boarding, I know that I'll always be boarding in Group 2, which is before general boarding of Group 3 through 5, and that means I'll definitely have a spot for my carry-on in the overhead compartment. And that makes me feel so much better when boarding my flight. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, once I stopped flying United regularly, I was finding it cumbersome to try and make 1 round-trip United flight per year in order to get some kind of value from the United Explorer card. And so that's when I started to look into the United Gateway card as a downgrade path. So now let's briefly go over the United Gateway card. At the time of this recording, the United Gateway card has a sign-up bonus of 20,000 miles after spending $1,000 in purchases in the first 3 months with no annual fee. It earns 2x miles on United purchases, 2x miles on gas, 2x miles on transit, and 1x miles on everything else. The benefits of this card include a 25% statement credit on food, beverages, and Wi-Fi while on board United flights, secondary auto rental collision damage waiver, travel cancellation and trip interruption insurance, and purchase protection. This card also has no foreign transaction fees. Now, to really understand the pros and cons of downgrading, let's take a look at the following comparison chart between both the United Explorer and United Gateway cards. As we're looking to downgrade this card, the sign-up bonus is irrelevant, but certainly the main reason why we're even considering this is the difference in annual fees. The United Explorer card has an annual fee of $95, whereas the United Gateway card has no annual fee. Fortunately, both of these cards have no foreign transaction fees, which is nice. The comparison of the multipliers is also pretty interesting as well, with the United Explorer card, in my opinion, giving you broader coverage of the more common expenses. Both cards offer 2x miles on United purchases, with the Explorer card getting you 2x on dining and hotels, and the Gateway getting 2x on gas and transit. What's a little bit unfortunate with the United Gateway card is that even though you get 2x on transit, which does cover rental cars, the Gateway card only offers secondary auto collision damage waiver, which I guess should be expected on a no annual fee card, but it really dampens the use of that transit category. You definitely get way more in United benefits and more with the Explorer card, including the free first check bag for you and a companion, priority boarding, 2 United Club passes, premier upgrades on award tickets, and a $100 TSA pre-check and global entry credit. In terms of travel protection, both cards get you trip cancellation and interruption insurance, but the Explorer card also gets you trip delay and reimbursement, baggage delay insurance, and lost luggage reimbursement. And in terms of purchase protection, the United Explorer has a stronger version of the two cards with a 120-day coverage period with $10,000 per claim and $50,000 per account, as compared to the Gateway's 120-day coverage with $500 per claim and $50,000 per account, which is a 20-fold decrease in value on a per-claim basis. So given all the positives with the United Explorer card, why did I even consider downgrading this card? The first reason was that I'm always on a quest to decrease my overall annual fees on my credit cards. Annual fee cards can definitely bring you great value, but the cost of the annual fees are sometimes a little more nuanced. In this particular case, the annual fee on the United Explorer is very easy to recoup pretty much by taking at least one round-trip United flight per year, making it a pretty good keeper card, provided that you can meet that requirement. But just because it's a keeper card doesn't mean it's going to be a keeper card forever. I still have to figure out how to go on at least one United flight per year. And this really isn't a big ask in the grand scheme of things, but I'd like to keep my life as simple as possible, and removing that need to fly United once per year, to me at this point, is quite liberating. Which brings me to my second point, which is that I don't want to be tied to a specific airline brand. Now, I say this as a frequent Southwest flyer, so I'm being a little hypocritical when I say that. But what I mean is, if I were to take a longer flight that wasn't a commuter flight, say something cross-country or international, I want to be able to choose from any airline, not just United. So really, downgrading this card eliminates my personal need to stick with United and opens me up to buying airline tickets from other airlines that I think would get me a better value. And as I also have the American Express Platinum card, I can bring even more value to that particular annual fee card if I start flying on Delta, being that the Platinum card does give you access to Delta Sky Club lounges if you end up flying on Delta for your trip. And this brings me to my third point, is that right now I have multiple cards with an airline incidental fee credit. As the United Explorer card provides multiple United-specific perks, this takes away some charges I could be using my airline incidental fee credits for instead. Of course, it's good to have both, but for me personally, I don't fly enough to use both, so if I were to pick one, I would much rather pick the airline incidental fee credit, as they are more flexible to use. I know on the American Express Platinum card, you do have to choose your preferred airline for this in January. And since I have 2 Platinum cards right now, that's $400 of airline credits that I can split between 2 different airlines, or the same airline. And of course, American Express does allow you to change the selected airline once per year, so I have that option available to me as well. I also have the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite credit card, and that card also has an airline incidental fee credit of $300. But this credit is much more flexible to use, and I can use the credits on fees from any airlines that's included in their terms and conditions. So in total, I have $700 of airline incidental fee credits to use per year, and so downgrading the United Explorer card will eliminate those United benefits, so I could better use those credits and also be able to keep the history of the card for no annual fee. And I also want to mention that if I downgrade this card and it turns out that I made the wrong move and actually want to go back to the United Explorer card again, I can do so easily, since I'm sure that Chase would be happy to upgrade me back to the original card, or potentially even offer me upgrade bonuses to an even higher tier card, such as the United Quest card or the United Club card. And so those are the reasons why I downgraded my United Explorer card to the United Gateway card. If you're curious about my current credit card strategy and my path to reduce my annual fees, definitely check out my most recent What's My Wallet video up top here, where I go over that in more detail.